What's up, everyone? I'm Ayla.
Hi, I'm Beth Ann.
And this is Let's Talk BL, a Boys Love podcast.
What's up?
What's up?
Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're finally doing this. This is so exciting.
It's so exciting. We've been talking about it for so long. I have so many feelings and thoughts that I need to subject the internet to.
We're going to talk about all the boys that love each other.
And that we love.
And that we love. It's
and
true.
That we love.
So like Ayla said, we are Let's Talk BL, a Boys Love podcast. We're going to talk each week about a different topic related to boys love. We want to give a little disclaimer before we get started here that we are only allies in this whole world of LGBTQIA plus goodness. And so we just want to say we are just here to have fun, light banter. We're not official, what's a good term? Like, we're not championing anything. We're just talking silly entertainment stuff. I like
because it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's okay for things to be fun. We're fun right now.
We're so fun. I like good escapist entertainment, and that's what I feel like this is, because let's be honest, some of these series are real interesting.
Although we're going to get into that because I feel like it says a lot about you that things like, let's take Itzy, for example, is an escape for you. I feel like maybe we need to have a conversation about that.
Well, we will.
We'll get into that.
About it. So, yeah, we're just consuming this content for entertainment, and we want to have fun talking about it, and we want you guys to have fun listening to it. So, I feel like, don't take it too seriously.
Let's do it. This is fun. I will say there are some things that Beth Ann doesn't like. I love everyone and everything. Every series is the best and every actor is amazing. But we're not going to be talking about that.
But here's the thing. We're good old Southern girls, and our mamas taught us that if you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. So I'm going to keep my lips closed on what boys I don't prefer and just gush over the ones that I do.
I don't know what you're talking about. I love them all. So sounds like a you problem.
They all bring something wonderful to the table, but there are just some that I prefer to watch over others. That's all.
So let's get to the fun stuff, which is the question of why are we qualified to have a podcast about BL series? I'm going to say the answer to that is that we're not. No. That we just have a lot of feelings about BL series, and we need an outlet.
Ayla has a lot of feelings. I just love to watch boys being dramatic.
I have so many feelings. I have not once not cried, and I'm here for it. But I do want to point out that this is actually entirely your fault. This is not my fault.
It's very cathartic.
Because I was living my life blissfully unaware, and then I show up for the weekend and you hit me with it. So let's get into that. Let's talk about how you came to the point where you were like, Ayla.
Where I had to get into, yes. So, Ayla and I share a love of K-pop, which I feel like we should go ahead and just say, because that's just a natural progression, which is how we met each other and how we got to where we are. I was living at work and was trying to stay very separate from my employers. And so I just was on YouTube all the time, and being on YouTube, consuming K-pop content, there's so many fan-made videos that BL fan-made videos started popping up, which of course I think it was mostly Mugol stuff. Like that was probably the number one videos that I kept seeing. And the fan-made videos are just juicy, and
the fan content is so good.
It's incredible.
I know we're definitely, we've got to have an episode about it. I think we're going to talk about it because honestly, it's like the fans, I guess, which is kind of us now, but we just consume everyone else's talent. I don't
But
know.
listen, we're not being fancy on this podcast. We're literally talking into a computer. We bought microphones. We're not like drawing or putting anything crazy on here.
Yeah, God, the fan content. I can see how
I
it
love
pulled
it.
you in. Now that I am like as committed and in as I am, I can see how the fan content would pull you in. But at the time, you know, because of the pandemic and what was going on in the world, where we would normally be hanging out in person, we weren't. And so I kept getting all these texts, and it's just inundating me with all of these boys. And I was like, Beth Ann, I don't have time for more boys because, you know, I have all my K-pop boys and it's a lot to keep up with. And one of them left me for the military during the pandemic. And it was just, I have so many feelings. And so I remember at the time you were like sending me all of these boys. And I don't even truthfully remember it being you, Golf, although it must have if that's what pulled you in. Honestly, the first ones that I remember, for whatever reason, no, I know I remember the ones that you first started sending me was Copter, actually, because I remember, no, because I remember, I'm pretty sure like I saw how your brain progression was working on it. And you were like, Ayla's going to get into this because of the music. Like I could tell in your brain, like that's how you were going to reel me in. And so you had sent me no, it wasn't Girl Went On. It was He Drinks You Drunk. And you were just like so sure that I was going to just like fall for Copter and it was going to happen.
Is where it's at. It's so
and like
good.
That's how you were going to like get me in on it. And then it didn't work for you.
It didn't.
I was a good sport about it. I was like, yeah.
But I had a roster of things in my mind because I also got into, I don't think I watched BLs specifically. This is what happened with K-dramas is that like when I first got into watching K-dramas, I would go on Netflix and just like find it. And I didn't find a K-drama at first. I found a Chinese drama at first, and then a Japanese drama, and then eventually found the Koreans. So the same thing kind of happened where I watched this show called Boy for Rent, which has like it has some like BL associated actors in it. And so I think I started explaining to you about this Thai drama that I was watching. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. And because I think
here we are.
It was GMMTV. If I'm not
Interesting.
mistaken.
I can't wait till we get into a conversation about that, but that's another conversation about another day.
It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, interesting. I think it's, and then finally I got fully vaxxed and we could hang out in real life. And and because I missed you so much, I was
she walked in the door and I pressed play.
I was like, literally because I missed you so much, I was like, okay, this is fine. Like I will give in to Beth Ann on this one. Like we can watch this series. And then I'm pretty sure even then I like snuck in like some K-pop stuff that I had been waiting to watch, or not even waiting to watch with you. I just like was associating it.
We needed to watch together.
Yeah. But then I will say I was hooked after the first one because you started me on History Trapped.
Yes.
Which was honestly like a genius move and shows just how well you know me.
Have fully well developed series. They have everything.
Yeah, just I am a sucker for good storytelling, and that's part of the reason I'm so into the BLs. Is I feel like so many of these, not all of them, but so many of these storylines are
Some
just
of
like
them are just about boys making out. Let's be honest.
Right. But a lot of them are very well developed. And one of those is Trapped because, and I remember I even told you, like, part of the reason I liked it so much is because I felt like it had this like very interesting, like mysterious storyline, and it wasn't fetishizing things. Like it wasn't like,
it wasn't about their sexuality.
It seemed like it wasn't made just for the purpose of like watching two boys kiss on camera, which, don't get me wrong, is like great, but I want like, give me story, give me like a reason to care about this outside of like that sort of like that thing that sort of makes you feel uneasy if it's like not, if it's just for the sake of being. And so I think that's why I liked History 3 so much. And I was just like, I I mean, it pulled me in at that point. And I remember we like went to bed and I stayed up just by myself until like probably like 4 a.m. that night, just watching the out of series content.
Yeah.
Like,
The
yes,
next
like
morning-
I was watching Chris and Jake, like just like all night long,
Yes.
just like swipe, 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 swipe. And then the next morning I woke up and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, the
like,
next morning I was already at work because like I went to work and you were still asleep. And I get texts from you that are like, I stayed up until 4 a.m. watching extra content. And I was like, girl, that's it. That's
and
when
now
we'll do
and
it.
now we're here. And
This
I
is
think that
where we are.
it's so interesting because I never thought, I was like, oh, Beth Ann's been alone for too long. Like, that's why she's so into this.
I was all alone.
But it's so interesting because I like it so much now and it's so much fun. And I have so many opinions.
Yes.
But I'm also so new, especially compared to you, who has like, you've seen so much and you've just like been paying attention to all of the boys and all of the news and all the everything. And so I'm just like discovering it for the first time. I am working my way through a list and I know we're going to talk about it on the podcast, but it's going to be a really interesting dynamic, I think, for us to talk about this like throughout this podcast season we're putting together.
Yeah.
Which sounds so weird to say.
There's so much to talk about. I will say I also really loved Western BL content. I was really into Queer as Folk and Will and Grace and all that stuff. But I feel like that's really what the US is missing. Western content is in general is you have like LGBTQ storylines as a part of shows, but you don't really have them as the focus. And I think it's just more fun when like, as a straight person, I see straight couples all the time. And so again, I really love good escapist entertainment. I'm not somebody who like wants to see myself on TV or like, and of course as like a straight white girl, I don't need to see that because I see that everywhere all the time. And so I love escapist content. Therefore, I want to see something that I am not exposed to in general. Although I will say I did live in San Francisco for a time and was living my best like BL life.
Just on the daily. No, I mean, I think that it's super fun. And I feel like part of the reason that you really eventually got me was, again, just like that first night with Trapped when I was watching all the out of series content. Yeah. It's the out of series content for me because coming from coming from it as like a K-pop fan,
right?
Which I think a lot of people will identify with because I mean, K-pop like run the world now, which I'm all for.
It's the gateway drug to all the things.
There's just, you start to really appreciate this, like what goes on during promotion season. And that's kind of what's great about it is it's the same thing that happens when you know, they're promoting a series. And so it's super fun, but you also are able to understand like this is work. Like they're working together. It's couple work. And I just really appreciate all of the actors just being like, yeah, this is couple work, but like it's fun and this is the work we're doing. And like it feels a little bit less like, I would say, exploitative. And I know that it still is on some level. We're not going to get into that. Right. Than some of the like shipping that happens in K-pop. And it feels very just like pure in so many ways.
Yes. That was the other thing too. When I know we've talked about this, Ayla, when we got into K-pop, we're not fanfic people. We're not ship people. Like it is fun occasionally to watch those videos, but you're just like, that is just such a stretch. And so
it kind of feels like prying. It feels like going into a part of those people's lives that like I was not invited into, and I'm not big on that. Right. And so that's why I think I appreciate the out of series content so much in the BL world across all the countries that kind of like do it in Asia. Right. Is because it's like, okay, I was invited here for this. I'm like, this is not like, it's not me like pretending it's something's like happening that isn't.
It's seeing these characters that you love being brought to life and like being able to see. It's almost like, you know how we see like the Instagram version of people's lives. We get to see like the real version of these like characters because they're playing characters, even though they're like going by their real names. any of the like paid appearances and things is another job. And
It's
so
a job. It's just like
fun.
K-pop. So I feel very strongly like in K-pop across all entertainment, honestly, like Western media, whatever, BLs, that, you know, these actors, these people, they have a public persona. This is their job. And so it's not the same as who they are when the camera's not on.
Right.
And like, I understand that. And I am like here for it. And I love it. And I think it's great. And I'm also I am here for the ghost ships. I would say, I feel like that can be another episode, maybe.
We're
I don't
definitely
know.
gonna do
I have too
that.
much to talk about on the ghost ship thing, but
True.
like, I love watching the ones that just like end up on a series together that are just like little buds. Like they end up just being like friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's, especially I feel like because of COVID and the situation in Thailand specifically right now, that they've taken to Instagram a lot to show us a little video. There's just so much. We have so much more to talk about. However, we're going to wrap up this episode because we just wanted to say hi and tell you a little bit about ourselves. But we are going to tell you what we currently are watching. And in the episode. So I am currently watching so many things. It's ridiculous.
That's the difference between us. I can only watch one at a time. So this is going to be interesting throughout this season to try and balance that.
I was that person back in the day, not to like date myself, but before like streaming, where I had like a schedule, literally like 2 shows a night that I was watching on like a weekly basis, and had like, especially the CW shows, because there were just so many. I was watching all of those. So right now I am watching Hidden Love, which was a real surprise. It was one of those where I just kind of was looking through the Line TV app and came across the show and didn't realize it was like currently airing. So that was a fun find. I'm watching I Promised You the Moon because I am actually watching as it comes out. I am not going to binge it. You'll find out that Ayla has to see a full show in completion. Like she can't wait for another episode.
Have feelings.
Which I can't. I have no self-control to wait that long. I will say I've watched that episode only once, but I plan on watching it again this weekend because
I'm telling you, I can't watch it. I can't watch it while it's live, especially I Promised You the Moon, because I have too many feelings. People will find out. People are going to find out what you hear every day is that like I'm just always crying. Like I just cry. And I can't handle having to wait a week. So yes, no, I will not be the one that's like, I'm currently watching I Promised You the Moon. Couldn't be me.
Okay, so those are 2. I finally caught up on Nidaman, I think is how you pronounce it. It's the cute little Kanawa Turbo series that people have been waiting for a while. What else am I watching? Oh, the new Taiwanese BL that just started called Be Loved in House I Do. And is there anything else that I'm watching? I feel like I'm like lacking and I need to like continue my BL journey. But I
feel like that's enough. I feel like that's plenty.
I sneak in like a Korean BL here or a Korean series, like regular series here and there. I'm currently watching a Chinese series at work called Use for My Talent, which is
me
so
too.
Good.
Currently watching. You know, this is not on the agenda, but everyone should watch Use for My Talent.
It's so
support
good.
Yannon. That's all I can say. Yes. So what I'm watching is going to be a lot more digestible because I'm not a crazy person watching 82 things at a time. So I actually just finished Lovely Writer, literally finished it today. It took me a really long time to get through it because I got to episode 11 and I got so frustrated I had to stop. Like with what was going on, it frustrated me and I was like, this is stupid and I don't even want to finish it. And then I finally finished it and it was cute. So I just finished that today, which means I'm not like actively watching something, but I did get some advice. I outsourced.
What's next on the list? And I made her a list.
Yes, you made me my list. And so technically next on the list is actually Sodas, but people keep talking me out of watching that one next. So I had narrowed it down to either 2 moons, which was a suggestion from one of our other friends, one of our other friends, was 2 moons, or He's Coming to Me, which was a
but
suggestion.
I haven't seen that one, so we gotta watch that together. Ayla's not allowed to watch dramas that I haven't seen because that would just be weird.
So everyone is telling me go with He's Coming to Me. I feel like I should do it, but maybe I'll go with 2 moons. Either way, I'm going to start one of those today because I have to catch up. I can only watch one at a time because otherwise I get them confused in my brain, like the storylines. Right. And then I'm like, I think that like, trust me, if I tried to watch both of them at the same time, I would definitely think that like something that happened in He's Coming to Me had like happened to Baz or something, and it would like distress me, but then it would be something that didn't even happen. So it has to be one at a time. Maybe it'll be 2 moons. That one's for Emily, I guess. I'll sneak that in.
Yeah. Do it. I've been trying to get her on the Kim Cop train.
I don't know. I feel like that's another discussion for another day.
Yes. Oh, and I guess I am currently watching Why Destiny and Close Friends. These new series that they're doing where they're doing like mini series where each episode is like a different storyline is really off-putting to me because they feel like their own little like mini series within it. So it doesn't feel continuous. But Why Destiny has had like continual like ties to each other. But yeah, so I guess that's
whatever happened with you and The Untamed. I remember you had like started watching it.
Should we discuss this?
I feel like this is going to be like a controversial topic.
Okay, I'm not big on like the conversations in the BL world. So I had like heard about
what does that mean?
As in like I'm not like on like forums. I'm not on Twitter. Gotcha. Like you have how you like have K-pop Twitter. My Twitter is mostly K-pop with like,
it fully sounded like you were saying that like you're not here for dialogue in BL. For a second I was almost like, girl, we need to have a conversation.
No, so also, like Ayla, I do not care for historical things that much unless I'm like super invested in the actor that I'm watching it for. Which I feel like every historical drama I've watched because of a K-pop boy.
Yeah, I feel like I really can only do it for like Minho. I'll power through for Minho.
Yeah, I watched 3 episodes of The Untamed, and I just like. I also don't pay close attention. I do multitask sometimes, so I feel like that's a show that I'd really have to pay attention to. And just the idea of like 45 episodes or 50 something episodes was just like an hour-long episodes. It's a lot. It's so much. A lot. So, but we have so much more to talk about.
We have so much more to talk about. I think this is the end of episode 1.1. And yeah, a little intro to us, a little intro to Let's Talk BL, and we'll get to expose people on the internet to what we normally just talk about privately, which is slightly terrifying, but we're gonna power through. We're gonna do it.
But hopefully we'll bring a little entertainment and a little joy to your life talking about boys loving boys.
And us loving them.
Yes. True. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, see you next time on Let's Talk BL.
Yeah.